something that I want to really make note of. How about Kendre Miller? We've seen him have a pretty slow start to his career. He was eventually kind of, I almost want to say, exiled by Dennis Allen and put in the doghouse, kind of, to put it, I guess, in a better terms. He hasn't had the best start. He's been injury-riddled. So far through training camp and heading into this first preseason game, he's healthy. He feels better. He's more confident in this system. How do you feel about Kendre Miller going into this season, and do you feel like your faith is restored in him being the RB2 in this running back room for the Saints?
Whoa, I wouldn't go that far as about faith being restored, but I will say this is a positive step for him because every year he's at least coming into camp injured or something's holding him back. But this time he's been healthy. Apparently he's been looking pretty good in camp. So that right there is just a good start. And the thing is, running back 2 is wide open. And with his talent, it should be his job. It should be no question. But, he's had other problems besides injuries. He's had to come off the field, in pass down situations, hadn't really picked up the offense in years past. So I really want to see him just take hold of it and just run away with it because talent-wise, he should be unquestionably running back 2.
You make it sound like Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Cam Akers could actually steal that RB2 job instead of Kendre.
No question, man, because those guys have done it. They're veterans. They're going to come in and they're going to handle their assignment. They might not be, the most explosive guys. They might not bring the most juice, but they're trustworthy. And, from that standpoint, that's what a coach is looking for. And that's what Kendre needs to prove. Outside of just being healthy, he needs to show that he's trustworthy, that they can put him on the field on third down with his 3rd and 8, and he's not going to miss an assignment,
All right, well, looking at the wide receiver position, this one's a little bit intriguing to me since we know what Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed can kind of bring. We're trying to figure out what kind of juice Brandon Cooks has left, and I guess who's going to be the wide receiver 4? We've heard a lot about Mason Tipton once again, Ryan. But at the same time, I'm really curious about someone like Bub Means to see if he can step up going into year 2. What have you seen so far, and what are your thoughts on the wide receiver position for New Orleans?
It's a great question, man, because honestly, it seems like nobody has really separated themselves. We got a lot of early talk about Mason Tipton, but if you notice, as soon as they started going to padded practices and the physicality ramped up, you didn't hear his name as much. And we kind of saw that last year in games where, he had a great camp, but, in the games, he didn't really, step up to the plate. So I want to see him shine in preseason games. Same for Bub Means. He's a guy that worked hard this offseason trying to step up. He does, make 1 or 2 catches per training camp day, but hasn't really kind of shined and had that multiple catch day. But we'll see. Once you get in the game, things change. And he had a pretty decent rapport with Spencer Rattler last year, but then he got hurt. So, we'll see if he'll be able to kind of pick up that chemistry that he had.
Are you worried about the depth at tight end?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was worried about it just going into this training camp because you had Juwan Johnson. Taysom Hill is injured. Foster Moreau is also injured. He's on IR. Then other than that, you have just a lot of just kind of unproven commodities. They were heavily interested in Noah Fant, but he wound up going to the Bengals just a couple of weeks ago. So they viewed that as kind of a weak spot on their roster. And I was surprised they didn't. In a draft that was loaded with tight ends, they didn't grab. Well, they did take one in the 7th round, and he's looked pretty decent. But again, it's a 7th rounder, so you don't really know what to expect. Can't really expect much, but I think they're going to use all of them, man. Like these young quarterbacks, they're going to target these tight ends, and tight ends are going to be featured in this offense.
You're kind of going to have to, but at the same time, since we don't know the exact timeline of when Taysom Hill and Foster are going to come back, it does worry me. I know it was a minor injury with Juwan, but I'm still not convinced with Juwan as a starting tight end in this league. And at this point, I know they got other guys, but it does almost feel like, are they more confident or more confident maybe we would be in as someone from an outsider's perspective in Michael Jacobson? That could be someone out there that could make the roster that could have more of a role than we would have anticipated?
I think so, and I think honestly they just don't have a choice. They also brought in Jack Stoll. They have, like you said, Michael Jacobson, and he's looked pretty good in camp. I think they're just going to do it by committee. You know, they might not have one tight end that's just going to, you know, be extravagant and do crazy things, but I think they feel like as a collection they have a decent group. And I forgot to mention you had Devin Hawker, who was coming in into his second year. He retired like right before training camp started, so it was quite a blow.
When it comes to the quarterback position, we've seen it be a battle so far, and it's actually somewhat surprising how long it's been a 3-quarterback race, or the appearance of it being a 3-quarterback race. Is Spencer Rattler head and shoulders above the other two so far in your eyes?
I think so, and I think it's more of a trust factor. I just think Spencer Rattler is just more trustworthy at the moment. I think he's going to be throughout camp. We've just seen it. You just look at how, you know, the quarterback rotation has broken down. Now they do want to get Tyler Shook as many reps as possible, and that's been the case. And I think you're starting to see these last couple of days they're kind of moving away from the Jake Hayner experience. Like, we want to get him reps, but we know these two guys really need the reps. And I think it's going to be Spencer Rattler, at least to start the season, you know, just from a comfort standpoint, which makes sense to me because Spencer Rattler has played in the league. He has 6.5 games experience, which is a big deal. Like, it's a big deal that he's been in the line of fire, and he, you know, say what you want about him, he saw extremely challenging situations and was able to kind of push himself through it. So I think it's no surprise that he's kind of leading the pack. But it's not like he's blown everybody away. He's just been more savvy and more decisive in how he's been, you know, experiencing camp so far.
We're talking with Ryan Hinton, better known as Dat Boy Wolf from the Saints Block Party podcast. He joins us here on RP3 and Mesh. Here we are, 2 days away from their first preseason game, and they don't have a veteran cornerback lining up at cornerback number 1 or cornerback number 2. They're going to roll out Kool-Aid McKinstry, second-year player who had some ups and downs last year as a rook, and then they're going to roll out more than likely a mid-round rookie that they drafted this year. And Alontae Taylor is going to be your corner, your slot corner. How do you feel about that?
I'm actually excited to see it. It's Kool-Aid McKinstry, from all reports, has, you know, really stepped up this training camp. Looked like he's making a leap. We'll see how that plays out, but he has the talent, and he played in a similar defense at Alabama. Alontae, we'll see how they kind of rotate that, you know, in the regular season as far as like him playing outside and nickel. But I'm really hoping to see Quincy Riley take that outside corner role. He has good ball skills. He also played in somewhat similar defense, and he might not be the biggest corner, but he plays real feisty. So I really want to see if he could take that role. Look, you're going in with young corners. It's going to be kind of scary. They're going to give up some plays, but I think the youth movement is what they're going for with this defense. So you just kind of have to kind of take what comes with it.
I don't disagree with that because we kept waiting for them to go get Asante Samuel Jr. and it never happened because he's got the weird neck issue. No one's touching him, right? So, hey, by the way, Eli Apple got cut this morning, but I don't think he's coming to New Orleans. But
no.
you know, but when I look at the schedule, though, right? Like those young corners are going to get tested, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Marvin Harrison Jr. week 1. And then you're going to have Ayuk in week 2 that you're going to have to figure out who's going to guard him. Now, it softens up a little bit, right? But Malik Neighbors is going to be coming to town in week 5, Cat. And that guy can ball straight up. So you're asking a lot of 2 really, really young guys to be able to hold their own in your revamped defense, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. It's going to be trial by fire, man. And look, I mean, Rico Payton, he showed some things as a young going into his second year. They also got Isaac Yiadom. He's looked He's looked pretty good. So they have a lot of youth, a lot of young guys. And look, you got to look at the safety position also, which has been completely revamped. So I think it's going to be up and down. It's going to be a struggle, but I just like the fact that they're going young. And I do think they did have interest in Asante Samuel Jr., but like you said, he's kind of injured. So it's just going to be kind of like, let's figure it out. Kids, let's go in there and just kind of figure it out.
What do you want to see from this team in Sunday's preseason game? Just give me a couple of things that Ryan is going to be sitting there watching, taking notes on, wanting to see positive things about this team.
Well, on offense, I just want to see the operation. I just want to make sure. I just want to see everything going smoothly as far as getting the calls in, the quarterback executing, getting the ball out quick. I don't expect to see any crazy plays or anything like that, but just pure execution. I want to see the offensive line go against a tough Chargers team. Jim Harbaugh defense. They're going to get tested. So I want to see where they at, where this offensive line is at right now, and obviously the quarterback play. I want to see the rotation of the quarterbacks. How many snaps does Spencer Rattler get? How much action does Tyler Shuck get in this game? I think that's going to tell us a lot about where this competition is at. Defensively, I want to see how physical this defense is right now because they hadn't had a lot of live tackling in camp. I just want to see where they are as far as tackling and hitting and physicality against a physical Jim Harbaugh offense that's going to run the ball. They are going to run the ball, and the Saints invested a lot in improving this run defense. They're going to get tested this week. Let's see where this run defense is at right now. And it won't be the end story because you still got a month before the regular season starts, but you just want to at least see where they're at right now.
Ryan, when are you guys dropping a new episode? Are you going to do a reaction after the game on Sunday, or are you going to wait till Monday, bud?
Oh, you know it, man. We're going to be live streaming during the game.
There it is.
With all our community on the Zoom, watching the game live, reacting. Then after the game, my co-host Adam, he's going to be at the game. He's going to come home and we're going to record a reaction podcast to the actual game and give our thoughts on it because we're going to be watching closely, man.
Your co-host is going out to Cali for the game?
Well, he actually lives in Cali, so
well, that's convenient.
right there for him.
That's convenient. Well, now I know when I go out to Cali.